movie, just from executives, studio executives saying, we need to tone this down, we need to change that. Is that something that you recall while shooting, that yourself and John Carl Buechler were getting these notes, this kind of studio oversight?
I think that it was all Buechler having to deal with that crap, because I know that it was happening, but they never came to me with that stuff. I don't know if it's because they're afraid to fucking rip the head off or something if I was in the right mood, but they never came to me with it. They always go to Buechler and tell them that whatever their suggestions were, it must have been a nightmare for him. But I was able to pretty much do what I thought was right. And, you know, you guys probably have read before that a lot of scenes that I shot as Jason throughout the movies, I didn't necessarily exactly plan what I was going to do. I'd have an idea, I'd block it and say I'm going to go here and here and here, but I wouldn't know what I was going to do until the moment hit me, and I did what felt natural. So in that case, there's no way something can look rehearsed. Because if I didn't know what I was going to do, then there's no way it looked rehearsed, which means it looked more natural. And I've always been told that the success of me playing the character so many more times than anyone else is that it looked more natural. I even look at some of the movies that I didn't do and look and I say, it looks like he's acting. It looks like he's trying to look scary, and it's not convincing. And it's not an easy thing to do without your facial expressions or your voice to be scary. So it's all in the way you stand. And it's a tricky thing to do. And, you know, a good example of when I ad-libbed something, it wasn't because I didn't know what I was going to do. I had an idea what I wanted to do, but something changed within the scene. And then I had to really ad-lib. It was when in Jason Takes Manhattan, the girl is coming out of the shower, and I go in to kill her, and I'm supposed to grab her, throw her. She had a thing on her head that her head would hit the mirror would shatter, and I'd have all kinds of shards to pick from to go after her to stab her. If you know the movie, you see that didn't happen. I throw her head hits the mirror and it cracks. And it just stayed there. It was all supposed to fall. And I'm like not going to ruin that, because this is a stunt girl that just did a stunt that wasn't easy. So I'm not going to say, oh, well, it didn't work what it was supposed to, cut. So I just said, what am I going to do now? So I just walked over, I punched the mirror to break it the rest of the way, then grabbed the piece and went after her. So, and I think it looked way better that way, because that was a real mirror. And I did have a glove on, so I was confident I wouldn't get cut, and I didn't. So it's just kind of an interesting twist that happened, and that happens a lot with playing a character like this. Something is not going to go the way you think, and you have to just deal with it, and instead of ruining the scene, just move on.
Okay, so I've got to pick this scab. I think everybody in the room knows that.
Ready versus
you got it.
Yes.
Here we go. So I think everybody in the room knows that you were basically shafted out of the role.
I was completely
straight up shafted out of the role. So my question is,
yeah, right.
Chris Alexander, Fangoria Magazine, agrees that he was shafted out of the role.
Well, unless you consider not giving me an answer why I was replaced, not being shafted, but I was never told. I was never given a reason why I was replaced. And this comes after having a meeting with executives at New Line Cinema. I had a lunch meeting. They gave me the script, said, we're finally doing this movie. And I was like, great, I've been excited for it for years. And then I went home thinking, wow, and they gave me the script and said, we're doing this movie, the job is mine. Then they hired a director, and things changed, and suddenly I was out and never told why. To this day, was never told why.
And this is kind of a leading question, because you were talking about actors that looked like they were trying to be scary. Have you seen the movie? Have you seen Ken Kurtzinger's performance as Jason?
I did.
What's your honest opinion on that?
For me, he didn't look, there's only one scene where I thought he looked violent enough. And it's a hard thing. You're killing somebody, very often a dummy. So it's hard to really make it look frenetic and extremely violent. You have to go over the top. And the only time I think he was convincing, just in my opinion, was when he was killing somebody in the bed. He was, yeah, when it closed up and stuff, that's where he looked really good. That was his best scene in that movie, I think. And, you know, other than that, I mean, he wasn't terrible, certainly. You know, a lot of people liked it, but I didn't feel the power all the time, which I like to feel when I'm watching Jason. I want it to look like there's no way that somebody could get away from this guy once he's got his hands on you, you know, so. And I didn't see the remake, so don't ask about that one.
Okay, well, that's